It's Fiona Witten from Oakville Crafts. I hope you've had a good week, and just popping on here today just to go over a review of the projects that I made this week using the Abstract Impressions stamp set. So I don't know, go that way. Now, I'm having problems here because the light here is not very good, so I hope you can see that. So that was the stamp set that I featured. It has a massive 21 stamps in it. Some of them are two-step, oops, there you go, two-step, some of them are three-step stamping. So, and because it's clear, it's a fairly easy stamp set to use. So we started the week last Saturday with a couple of simple stamping cards. Let's see if we go that way. I haven't put the lights on here because they're yellow, so, and if I put the other lights on, unfortunately they're just so bright you can't even see anything, so that's crazy. It's kind of crazy. So this was the first one, so it was a very simple, and then I made another one in the reds. So the first one, this particular one, was made using the in colours. So I actually only used two colours on there. You can't see you know what, I'm going to try the light. See, it doesn't make any difference. Oh, no, so, we'll go in, maybe, there you go. Oh, no, you still can't see, because, there you go. Okay, so that one was made using, and I have to remember now, oops, there we go, two colours, actually. So, the green, the first one, hi Helen, the first one in the green was, I want to say, Granny Apple Green. And then the second green is actually Granny Apple Green. Let's see if I can get it again. There you go. Simply, it was stamped off before I actually put it onto the card. And then the top one was, I'm trying to remember now, I want to say Bermuda Bay, but that looks too dark. So, but it could have been actually Bermuda Bay, and then that's the same colour again. And then this one, let's see, here we go. Get it that way. I actually used four different colours on there, so I kind of went a bit mad with that one. But they're all pretty simple. Stamp the grass, stamp the flowers, and then you just overstamp bits. This again is just the thank you in black, and then I just used another, I think it's supposed to be a big stem or something, but I used it just to highlight the sentiment. So that's that one. So those were Saturday's classes. Then Sunday, I went a little bit more, there we go, I wouldn't say complicated, because at the end of the day, this is still pretty simple because it's just squares and rectangles that I cut out. So this here is Coastal Cabana, stamped in Coastal Cabana, so it's tone on tone. And then the flowers are both are Coastal Cabana, and then the green is the Granny Apple Green as well. So the green is the dark first colour, and then the second one has been, let's see if I can get it to go, let's see, that way. There you go, you can't see me, right, doesn't matter. So the second stamping was, for the background, it was stamped off first. So then the flowers are Coastal Cabana, just tone on tone again. So obviously where you go over it for the second time, it looks darker. And then this image on the background is actually from the stamp set as well. So there was that one. Then I did it using the same colours again. Let's see, there we go. Same colours again as the first one on Saturday. So it was mint macaron and Granny Apple Green for the grass, and then the top was Poppy Parade and I want to say Rococo Rose. So that was a pretty simple one. So those were Sunday's cards. Monday, I stepped it up a little in that I used some dies. Let's see, go that way, there we go. So I actually posted this on a few places on Facebook, and this seems to have had a lot of comments. So I've used the Seaside Spray blue from the In Colours, Pretty Peacock from the In Colours, and then again Granny Apple Green. So the paper and the cardstock are the In Colours. Then I used the stitched shapes to do the oval. There we go. The stitched shapes to do the oval. So I stamped that first, the sentiment first in the Pretty Peacock, and then I cut it out using a stitched oval. You can just about see there that there's a couple of layers. So this strip here, which started off as a 3 centimetre strip of Whisper White and a 3.5 centimetre strip of Pretty Peacock. So I stamped first in the Seaside Spray, and then I stamped with the Pretty Peacock over it, and then I just added the flowers. And actually the flowers go all the way up and down the that white strip, which is hidden by this particular bit here. There we go. So I added that with some foam pads, added that with some foam pads, and then inside I just did a little one in the corner. There you go. So that was just the corner. And I don't normally put 2 layers inside, but I actually quite like the idea of having the Pretty Peacock on top of the Seaside Spray, so that was why I did that this time around. It's the usual thing, the more layers you add, the thicker the card and the more expensive it gets to post. So you don't actually have to do it. And then I did go to town with the, let's see, let me go, with the envelope. So I did the back and I also did the front just in the corner. Trying to catch the right light here, it's crazy. But it's in the corner there, just about see it there. So that was Monday's card. And then it goes quiet Tuesday and Wednesday because I do weekly updates, and well, Tuesday tends to be the blog for the challenge that I actually have just decided to, I've resigned from. So thank you, Helen. So Tuesdays are going to be free up now to do what I want rather than have to meet certain criteria, which is a shame, but I actually, it was just getting too much because it wasn't just making cards and blogging, it was all the other stuff that I had to do as well for it, but there you go. Anyway, so on Thursday I posted, now this card, and this is going to be fun trying to get you to see this one. I'm trying to think, how can we get this that way? No, because it's white on white. Oh, there we go. There you go. So the stamp set originally was around before the current annual catalogue. It was in the previous catalogue, and the Springtime Impressions die, which is what one of these is, was coordinated with it as a bundle, but now that it's in the new catalogue you can't get it as a bundle anymore, I'm afraid. So I actually used the Springtime Impressions die twice. So I used it to cut out, let's see, right, this die. So I cut a piece of Whisper White, the same size as the panel, and then just stuck it on the corner and then die cut it all out, and then obviously had to pick all the little bits out. And then this piece here is the die again, but I used it to emboss. So you can use your dies to emboss, and then but depending on your die cutting machine depends on what you have to use to actually get an emboss. It's normally just a rubber sheet. Big Shots, there's a special pack you can get that does different things. Other embossing machine, die cutting machines, I'm sure do exactly the same. Then the thank you. I'm going to have to get this sorted, but I go home on Monday, so it'll be a lot easier then. The thank you, there you go. Oh, no, there we go. The thank you is straightforward. Well, I say straightforward. The thank you actually is on a long line. So what I did is I inked up the thank first, then made sure I cleaned the stamp really well, and then I inked up the U, and this is in Melon Mambo, and then I stamped it, the U underneath the thank, so that I actually could then fit it into a circle, which I then die cut. And then the little flower is also another die that comes from the Springtime Impressions die set. Actually, I will show you that so that you can see for yourself. So the Springtime Impressions dies come with this. So you can see it's actually pretty large. It will cover a whole half of a panel for a normal UK size card. Comes with a little flower, which is the one I used on that last card. And there's also, she says, trying to get it off the sticky thing, a butterfly. I'll go that way. So it's a nice set. And it's one that obviously you don't just have to use it with the abstract impressions. You can use it by itself. You can, all sorts of things you can use it for. And then the last thing I wanted to show you is this little project that I've made to share today. There we go. So I've made a little folio. And you can see the front. I wasn't sure whether to add some rhinestones to the middle of that, and I haven't. So again, this is in, well, the base is Whisper White, and then I've added some Seaside Spray cardstock. Let's see, there you go, Seaside Spray cardstock, and then some Pretty Peacock, and then some paper. So it's very much the same colour scheme as that card. And then the centre panel, again, it's just 3 little flowers that I've stamped, and then I put lots of leaves around them, and then I just die cut it out using the rectangle stitched frames. So that's that. But when you can open it up, she says. The ribbon I've used is the polka dot tulle. So when you open it up, I've made a little, let's see, we can go that way, a little folio that I've put some thank you cards, and I played around with the thank you cards. They're all the same, and there's 4 cards and 4 envelopes in here. So again, this is another stamp from the Abstract Impressions. Actually, it's, believe it or not, 3 stamps. There you go. So I stamped the main part in the soft sea foam. Then I stamped off first on this particular one to add the bit for the wings. God, there you go. I'm going to have to get better at this. Using the Pretty Peacock, and then the Pretty Peacock for the body, and then obviously the thank you is just tuxedo black. Oh, I don't know what that noise was, but and then where have we gone? Envelopes I did as well. So it's just, this is just big enough to hold four notelets and their envelopes. So it makes a nice little gift, and then I added some more paper to the inside just to pretty it up. So there you go, so that's it. So those were my projects for this week. This one I am going to write instructions and it'll go on my blog. Apologies, I know I still owe for the flip-flap card, which I'm still working on. It has actually proved to be more trouble than it's worth. Well, it's worth it, but it's, you know what I mean. So next week we're going with, oh, you can't even see that, the subtles. So I've got 10 colours to choose from. So all my projects next week will be featuring the subtles, plus black, because kind of need to use that sometimes. So I will start sharing those tomorrow. This Facebook Live will be shared, and I'll put it up on the Facebook, and I will see you again. And in the meantime, happy stamping.